What's going on, everyone? Today we've got my final save ideas video here for FM24, and this one is a bunch of building a nation recommendations. These are those super long-term saves that you are very, very invested in. So we've got 10 clubs here for you today. Let's go ahead and get right into it. But before we do get into things real quick, this is all done on an updated database, so if you want to give it a go for yourselves, I'll be linking it down below in the description. So, first building a nation save that I'm going to give for you guys, I'm going to do these by countries. First country is Iceland. Now, Iceland has a lot of very solid clubs, a lot of very solid talent as well. You've got Vikingur, very solid club. Breiðablik, very solid club. But the club that I'm going to recommend for this save is Fram in Reykjavik. Now, this is a club that is pretty historic. 18 first league titles. I think it's called the Pepsi Max League. So this is a pretty historic club. They have not won the league since 1990. So this is a club that you not only have to rebuild, but also build the nation at the same time. Very, very fun type of save to do when doing a build a nation. You're not going to have a whole heck of a lot of money. There isn't a whole heck of a lot of money within the Icelandic League, but as you build everything up, you're going to be rolling in money. And one reason why I really like this group, they're pretty young. There isn't a whole lot of older players. It is a pretty young squad. I'd say the average age is probably around 24 to 23 years old. So you're definitely going to be producing some pretty good young talent for not only the Icelandic League, but the Icelandic national team as well. However, you are going to want to invest into your youth recruitment and junior coaching so that you are getting Icelandic Wonder Kid after Icelandic Wonder Kid. Next country that we're going to be looking at is the Czech Republic. The Czech Republic has some very good talent coming out of it recently within all different sports. And they have two clubs that really truly dominate. That is Slavia Prague as well as Sparta Prague. Now there are 4 clubs from Prague in the top tier. It's not just those two, it's also Dukla Prague as well as Bohemians Praha. Now, I am not recommending any of those clubs. You're going to want to take over the league from the Prague clubs. So we're going to go to Sigma Olomouc. Now, Sigma Olomouc caught my attention from someone within my Discord. They were talking about how they produce some pretty darn good talent, and essentially 97% of their team is produced within the league, if not by themselves. So that is a very, very fun thing to try and continue if you wish to do so, but also just a club that is known for kind of producing just non-stop Czech talent. That is a great club to have in a building a nation save. You're not going to have a whole heck of a lot of money, almost £1 million though, so you can definitely look for some bargain buys within the Czech leagues. You're also going to have some decent facilities and produce some decent players off the rip. Still got to invest in it though. But when it comes to this squad, you see a lot of Czech players. You got some Slovakian players in there as well as someone from Estonia, but very, very Czech heavy team. And they aren't the youngest of teams either, so you're going to have to start to invest in some youth as well, which that helps a building a nation save go a long ways when you do that. But if you're looking to do a building a nation save and start in the Czech Republic, Sigma Olomouc is definitely a club to look into. Next up, we have got one of the harder building a nations to do, and it's Wales. Wales is very interesting, and there's a reason as to why. So you have the Welsh leagues, which from the Welsh leagues, the New Saints absolutely dominated. But my suggestion is Haverfordwest. Haverfordwest is a club that I think under the right leadership can dethrone the New Saints. However, like I said, Wales is kind of a unique situation because they don't just have the Welsh League with all the Welsh clubs. They also have Welsh clubs competing in the English leagues, and there are 4 of them: Newport County, Swansea City, Wrexham, as well as Cardiff. Now, I think if you are to do a building a nation save with Wales, you either do it with a club like Haverfordwest, someone that isn't the New Saints, or you do it in the English leagues, to where you are building up the Welsh clubs within the English leagues such as starting with Newport County and moving your way up through the leagues up to the Prem, but making sure that you are either loaning and or selling talent to clubs in the Welsh League. It's going to be a little bit difficult, but that is why it is not an easy save to do at all. Wales is one of the tougher ones to do for sure. Moving on to our next nation, though, it is Poland. The Polish league is a very fun league to do a building a nation in. You get paid for the amount of youngsters that you play in your sides. You also have some pretty lenient registration rules to where you can essentially build whatever squad you want to end up building. Now, we are not going to be looking at the clubs in the top tier. There's a lot of good talented clubs in the top tier, such as Jagiellonia, you got Lech Poznan, you also have Legia Warsaw right here. Now, the club that we are going to look at is in the second division of Poland, and it's Wisła Krakow, one of the more historic clubs that has become a fallen giant. They've won the league 13 times as well, most recently in 2011. So They have fallen on some hard times. They also had some financial troubles. However, things are looking on the up and up for them. And this is a club that you can help build back up and then take over Polish football, but help build the Polish leagues up at the same time, along with the national team as well. Now, they start off with some pretty good facilities, not all too much in the transfer budget, which once again, I think if you don't have a lot of money in the transfer budget, which I mentioned in a multitude of my videos, go for loans and free signings. That's going to help you get to where you want to be sooner rather than later and not put you in any financial troubles as well. And you have some good youth recruitment, so you're going to be able to produce some good youth talents here at the club. And you have a squad that has players from kind of all around Europe, all around the world. So it shows that, yeah, the registration rules, you can kind of build whatever squad you want to end up having, while also focusing on youth, because the more youth that you play, the more money you're going to make. So if you're looking to do a building a nation within Poland, definitely give Wisła Krakow a go. The next nation we're going to be looking at is going to be Hungary. Now, Hungary, they have one club that dominates. It is Ferencváros. However, there are a couple of other clubs that can definitely rival them. One of them in the future being MTK Budapest, but immediately it would be Puskás Akadémia or Újpest. Another club would be Ferencváros as well. Now, we're not going to be looking at a club within the top tier. Ours is in the second tier, and it's Budapest Honvéd, who were recently just relegated down. So this is a club that you're going to have to build back up, kind of like Wisła Krakow in Poland. And you have some decent facilities off the rip, not all too much in the transfer budget, but they are a historic club. They've won the league 14 times, most recently in 2017, and now find themselves in the second tier. So this is definitely a club that you can build up into Hungarian champions, but also help build up the league pretty quickly. Hungary is a very, very fun nation to do it in as well. And you don't have a massive squad, so you're definitely going to have to add some players through loans and or free signings. But this is a squad that should definitely help you get back up to the top division in Hungary, first time of asking. So if you're looking to do a building a nation save in Hungary, definitely consider Budapest Honvéd. The next nation is Austria. Austria is a very fun nation to do a building a nation save in, and there are a lot of very solid clubs. Of course, you're going to have to compete against Red Bull Salzburg. They're going to be the top dogs, one of the hardest teams to overthrow. But you also have clubs like Rapid Wien, Austria Wien, Sturm Graz, and Lask Linz. Now, all of those clubs are going to be the ones you are aiming to kind of take down one by one as you work your way up within Austria. And the club that we're going to be looking at is Wolfsberger AC. They aren't one of the top dogs, but they are a very fun club. I absolutely love where they are located. Their stadium, in my opinion, very, very nice. They also have some pretty sick kits. Now, facility-wise, pretty decent. You're going to produce some pretty good youngsters off the rip, and for Austrian football, 750K can definitely help you bring in a decent player or two. You're going to have a very solid squad at your disposal as well. It is a mixture of veterans and youth. The vets are definitely going to help you kind of compete sooner rather than later, but with your youth, you're definitely going to want to develop them into some pretty good players for the Austrian Bundesliga. So if you're looking to do a Building a Nation save in Austria, Wolfsberger AC is definitely a club to look into. Our next nation is one that I think is on the up and up within football. They produced some pretty good players in the past. It is Slovakia. Now, Slovakia is a lot like Hungary, kind of dominated by one team. That one team being Slovan Bratislava. They are by far and away the best team within the league, have the best players, have the best facilities. They are very, very good. Some other clubs that can kind of compete at their level are Zelina. However, the club that I'm going to recommend is Trenčín. Now, Trenčín is a pretty important club within Slovakia, not only just with football, but also with hockey as well. There's quite a few hockey players that have come from Trenčín. One actually played in my city. His name was Pavel Dimitra. Now, they produce very good youngsters, and it proves right here with their facilities. Very, very good facilities. You're going to produce quite good young talent. Now, transfer budget wise, 180K, that's good enough to bring in a decent player or two to help bolster your squad. Now, there is one interesting thing about the Slovakian league. They do kind of have some stricter squad registration rules. You can only have a certain amount of foreign players, and Trenčín, I'm pretty sure, does break that rule. So does Slovan Bratislava. However, in Europe, you can play more foreign players. So you gotta find that perfect balance, and Slovakia, like Wales, is going to be one of the more challenging Build a Nation saves that you can do. But this Trenčín squad, very, very good and a very fun club to do if you choose to do a Building a Nation in Slovakia. Next up is one of my favorite nations to manage in general. It is Norway. Now, Norway, we know that they produce talent. However, that talent just can't win anything for some reason. They can't even qualify for European tournaments. So your job is to essentially help them achieve that, not only within the league, becoming better, but also with the national team. Now, they are dominated, like some of these other leagues, by one club right now, and it is Bodo Glimt. They are very, very good. But some other clubs that are pretty good are Molde as well as Rosenborg. Now, the club that I'm going to recommend is not in the top tier in Norway. The club I'm recommending is in the second tier. It is Olsen FK. I've done a save with them in the past. It was actually Building a Nation one, and they are a very fun club to do. You will have to improve the facilities. You're going to have 500K to start off with, and in the second tier in Norway, that's some pretty good money. But they have a pretty decent squad to start things off with. Some pretty good youngsters and some pretty good veterans as well. Someone that you're definitely going to want to build around, though, once he is back from loan, is going to be Nikolai Hopland. This guy right here can make a world of difference early days within the Building a Nation save with this club, because he can become a star for you. So if you're looking to build the nation of Norway, definitely look to the second tier at Olsen's FK. Up next, we have got Switzerland. Switzerland, I feel, have produced some very good players over the years, such as Jan Sommer as well as Yerdan Shaqiri. Now, they have some very good clubs. One being the one that you see right now, FC Basel. Also, Servette, very good club. BSC Young Boys, also very good. Zurich, pretty solid, as well as Lugano. Lugano have some pretty deep pockets. Now, the club I'm going to choose is FC Lausanne-Sport. This club is very, very good, not only in the world of football, but essentially anything that they try and put their minds to. They're very good in hockey as well. They are very good at producing some young talents. One of them I will highlight here in a moment. But they have great training facilities, great youth facilities. They are a pretty storied club. They've won the league 7 times, but haven't done so in decades. So that is one thing that you're trying to achieve right there with this club. You're going to have 224K to start things off with. You can get a decent player for that price with this group, but you will have a fairly decent squad to start things off with. Quite a few players in on loan. Now, one of the players that you're going to want to build with is Alvin Sanchez. Alvin Sanchez is very versatile. He is very good. The value already shows it at 20 years of age in the Swiss League, 2.4 to 7.2 million. He's going to start off wanted as well. It's going to be difficult to hang on to him. However, if you can, you're going to be able to have one of the best players in the league on your side for a long time to come. But if you do choose to sell him on, you can reinvest it into a multitude of players and definitely help improve your squad immediately. But all in all, if you want to start a building a nation save in Switzerland, Lausansport, definitely a very good option. And finally, we're on the last nation, which this nation you can only play with if you have the updated database, because it comes with a whole host of other leagues that you can then install and have within your FM. And the nation is the Faroe Islands. Now, the Faroe Islands, very, very unique. Not a single club is professional. Your goal is to eventually get all of them to becoming professional clubs. There are some very good sides already within this league, though. One of them is Klaksvik. Another one is Vikingur Gutta, I believe is how it's pronounced. But the club that I am going to choose, I believe it is them. IF Fuglafjordur. I hope that's correct. I don't know if it's correct. But IF Fuglafjordur. Now, like I said, a lot of these clubs, I'm pretty sure all the clubs, are semi-professional. Your goal is to essentially build up everyone at the same time. If you can do that, it's going to be a very difficult save to do. That is why I have it as the last one I recommend. With facilities, you're going to definitely have to improve upon them. There are two clubs that have pretty good facilities from what I've seen, but you're definitely going to have to improve yours if you decide to go with Fugla. We'll call him Fugla. That's way easier. You're also not going to be starting with anything in the transfer budget, which makes a lot of sense. And team-wise, very, very balanced. You got some youth, you also got some vets, and I think that with the right tactics and right system and everything, you're going to be able to start competing for the title immediately. But you're going to have this be a very long-term project. I'm talking maybe 20, 30 seasons to get to where you want to be with not only your club, but with the league as a whole. But if you're looking for a super long-term building a nation, going to the Faroe Islands and choosing any club is a great option. All right, there we have it for today's save idea video. Hope you did enjoy. If you did, please feel free, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Subscribing is 100% free, so why not hit that sub button? I'll also be linking the updated database down below in the description if you wish to give it a go for yourselves. Until next time, everyone, have a good one. Bye-bye.